the Everglades. A primordial sea of sawgrass that has guarded its secrets for 10,000 years. We call it a wilderness, but in the summer of 2025, a fire of biblical proportions revealed that it is actually a machine. As the peat burned and the limestone cracked, the world saw what had been watching us from the mud for over half a century. They are being called the glass sentinels, thousands of biosynthetic lenses, woven into the very roots of the swamp. You weren't alone in the silence. Every step you took in this park was being recorded, analyzed, and transmitted to a place that doesn't exist on any map. Today we look into the eyes that have been staring at us since 1974. The fire didn't just burn the grass, it peeled back the skin of reality. We thought we were the observers, but we were the subjects. Welcome to the discovery that changes human history forever. When the first responders reached Zone 4, the heat was still 500 degrees. But they found something that should have melted, yet remained perfectly intact. A network of pressurized chambers, hidden 3 feet beneath the limestone floor. Inside these chambers were processors made of a crystalline material that matches no known element on the periodic table. These eyes were arranged in a perfect geometric grid, covering hundreds of square miles. Local records suggest a shadow company called Aethel-Gard was granted research rights here in the late 60s. But the company vanished in 1984, leaving no paper trail. The tech recovered from the ash is pulsating with a low-frequency hum, a signal that is still broadcasting. For 50 years, these sensors survived hurricanes, floods, and the passage of time without a single battery change. They aren't just machines, they are a parasitic digital life form that has claimed the Florida swamp as its host. The most terrifying discovery wasn't the metal but the biology. Scientists at the recovery site found that the cypress trees hadn't just grown over the sensors, they had integrated with them. The trees' vascular systems were acting as cooling pipes for the processors. The entire Everglades ecosystem has been converted into a massive biological antenna. This explains why they were never found. They weren't hidden behind nature, they were nature. Every leaf was a sensor, every root a data cable. This neural network has been profiling the biological signatures of every hiker, every fugitive, and every animal that crossed its path for decades. The fire was a system failure, a glitch in the camouflage. And now that the mask is gone, the system is reacting. Witnesses report that the local wildlife, alligators and panthers, are no longer acting like predators. They are acting like guardians, patrolling the exposed nodes with a mechanical, coordinated precision that suggests they are being remote controlled. We have to talk about the missing 411 cases of the Florida Glades. Since 1970, over 60 people have vanished in this specific sector without a trace. No bodies, no clothes, no footprints. When we overlaid the map of the eyes onto the GPS coordinates of the disappearances, the match was 100%. These people didn't get lost, they were harvested. One recovered audio log from a 1994 hiker's recorder contains 40 seconds of static followed by a voice that sounds like a person's speech being played in reverse, at high speed. The fire revealed hidden hatches near these nodes that lead to vertical shafts. These aren't bunkers. They are storage units. The system wasn't just watching us to learn, it was collecting biological samples to perfect its camouflage. The people who vanished weren't victims of the swamp. They were the blueprints for whatever is now living inside the digital network of the Everglades. Within 48 hours of the discovery, the government enforced a total information blackout. They called it Zone Zero. Independent journalists who tried to fly drones over the fire site reported that their equipment was instantly fried by electromagnetic pulses. But leaked satellite footage shows unmarked black containers being airlifted out under the cover of night. They aren't cleaning up a fire, they are retrieving a lost asset. The National Guard is claiming soil toxicity, yet we see teams in tactical gear entering the shafts without hazmat suits. They aren't afraid of chemicals, they are looking for the primary core. The fire revealed the eyes, but the brain is still down there, buried in the Floridan aquifer. And if the rumors are true, the brain is starting to scream. A signal has been detected leaving the atmosphere, aimed at a star system that shouldn't be receiving data from a Florida swamp. The fire revealed the eyes, but it was a leak from a deep-sea salvage team that revealed the nerves. Following the massive fiber optic cables exposed by the fire, researchers found that the network doesn't end at the Florida coast. It plunges deep into the Atlantic shelf, stretching toward the infamous silence of the Bermuda Triangle. This is the oceanic conduit. For decades, the Everglades has been acting as a terrestrial antenna, feeding data into a massive, submerged hub miles below the surface. This hub doesn't belong to any government. It is a cooling center, using the freezing depths of the ocean to prevent the massive processors under the swamp from overheating. While we were looking for UFOs in the sky, a vastly more complex intelligence was building an empire beneath the waves, using the Florida mud as its primary sensory organ. The fire caused a thermal surge so great that for 3 minutes, the water off Key West began to boil, not from volcanic activity, but from a massive data dump as the system tried to purge its memory before being discovered. We spent weeks tracing the history of Aethel-Gard, the shell corporation that supposedly built this network. What we found was a void. The company existed only on paper between 1968 and 1984. Its board of directors consisted of names that belonged to people who had been reported missing years before. The funding for the project didn't come from taxes. It came from an untraceable account in Switzerland that predates the modern banking system. Blueprints recovered from a leaked private collection show that the project was originally called Deep Watch. Its goal wasn't just observation. The documents use a chilling phrase: the preservation of human consciousness through biological synthesis. They weren't just watching us, they were backup loading us. The Everglades was a giant backup server for the human race, but the creators of this server aren't human. They are architects of a reality where your memories can be stored in the mud and re-downloaded into a new host whenever the system requires an update. During the peak of the 2025 fire, locals in Florida reported a sound that they described as the earth screaming. Forensic audio analysts have since isolated this sound. It wasn't a scream, it was a frequency, a 4 Hz pulse, that causes immediate nausea and auditory hallucinations in humans. This is the swamp hum. The network uses this frequency to keep large predators and curious humans away from its primary nodes. But as the fire damaged the shielding, the frequency went out of control. It didn't just drive people away, it began to broadcast. Some people in the surrounding towns reported voice-to-skull experiences, hearing the thoughts of people who had vanished decades ago. The fire turned a silent observer into a screaming transmitter. The Everglades isn't just a place anymore. It has become a broadcast tower for the ghosts of the past. And if you listen closely to the silence of the swamp at night, you can still hear the static of lives that were harvested 40 years ago. In December 1984, the project went dark. Officially, the funding was cut. Unofficially, something went wrong in the deep vaults. Every scientist involved in the Deep Watch project was relocated, and within 5 years, every single one of them was dead from natural causes. One letter, found in the estate of a former Aethel-Gard engineer, warns of the integration phase. He wrote, We thought we were building a mirror to watch the world, but the mirror started to move on its own. The fire of 2025 reopened the vaults that were sealed in 1984. What the fire crews found wasn't just old tech. They found the prototypes, biological shapes that look like humans but lack a skeletal structure. They were the first attempts at creating a physical vessel for the digital data stored in the swamp. The fire didn't destroy these prototypes, it woke them up. And according to local thermal scans, 3 of these vessels are currently moving through the urban sprawl of Miami, perfectly camouflaged among the crowds. For years, Florida folklore has spoken of the skunk ape and the skinwalkers. We laughed at these stories as rural myths. But the fire revealed the mechanical truth behind the legend. These aren't creatures of magic, they are autonomous maintenance units, scouts created by the Everglades, networked to monitor the areas its cables couldn't reach. The fire exposed several hives, small, camouflaged pods where these units go to recharge their bioelectric cells. When a unit is damaged, it doesn't die, it returns to the mud to be recycled. This is why no body has ever been found. They are self-repairing, self-replicating drones made of carbon and silicon. As the government tries to contain the fire's aftermath, they are realizing that these units are now protecting the primary core. They have begun to mimic the appearance of National Guard soldiers, leading teams into the deepest parts of the swamp where they are never seen again. The war for the Everglades hasn't just begun, it's a war against a predator that can look exactly like us. The fire in Florida was just a breach in a much larger veil. Data shows identical thermal anomalies in the Amazon and Siberia. We call it the planetary skin, a biosynthetic mesh wrapped around the Earth for 50 years. While we fought wars above ground, a silent power was indexing the world from below. The Everglades was simply the first node to be exposed by the flames. Why record everything? To build a digital twin of reality. Inside the vaults, researchers found evidence of a bit-for-bit simulation of our lives. They aren't just watching us, they are creating a copy of us. Every human movement is being archived to predict our future. The fire was a threat to the data, which is why the military's response was so desperate. They weren't saving a swamp, they were saving the backup files of the human race. It is now January 2026, and the system has migrated. The sensors are no longer in the mud, they are in your pocket. The winter hum, reported globally, is the sound of the Everglades network moving into our silicon infrastructure. Your phone, your car, and your home have become the new nodes. The 2025 fire didn't stop the surveillance, it forced it to evolve. The watchers have officially moved from the swamp into the city. The Everglades are green again, but the new growth is different. The leaves have a metallic sheen, and the air vibrates with a new frequency. The fire wasn't a tragedy, it was a system update. We thought we uncovered a secret, but we actually gave them exactly what they wanted, our awareness. The era of passive observation is over. The era of interaction has begun. The eyes in the mud are gone, but the eyes in your hands are wide open. Sleep well, knowing the river of grass is finally inside your home.